Unit 12. Landlord and Tenant. Exercise 12.1.1. Sue Parker rents a one-bedroom apartment in Walnut Grove for $450 per month. Sue's rent probably will increase in 3 months, when her lease term ends. What kind of leasehold estate does Sue have? Answer. Estate for years. 2. The lease on Jim Smith's apartment ended last month. The landlord has not offered to renew the lease, and Jim has not made another rent payment. What kind of leasehold estate does Jim have? Answer. Estate at sufferance. 3. When must a lease agreement be in writing? Answer. A lease agreement must be written when the lease term will end more than 1 year from the date of the agreement. 4. Jim Smith rented an office in which to conduct his bookmaking operation from his good friend Sam, who liked the convenience of placing bets his own building. Jim was arrested before the lease term expired and will not be returning for some time. Can Sam collect the remaining rent payments? Answer. No. The lease contract did not have a lawful object. 5. Sue Parker is considering a move to a new one-bedroom unfurnished apartment. The monthly rent is $650, and the landlord expects a security deposit of $2,000. That amount seems excessive to Sue. Is she right? Answer. Yes. The landlord can demand a security deposit of no more than 2 months' rent for an unfurnished apartment, in this case, $1,300. 6. Sue will rent the apartment of a friend who is going abroad for 9 months, then return it to her friend. What will Sue have? Answer. Sue will have a sublease. 7. While Sue was at work, her landlord went into her apartment without her knowledge to turn off the gas line, which was leaking somewhere in the building. Should Sue object? Answer. No. The landlord has the right to enter the premises in an emergency. Exercise 12.2. Who usually bears responsibility for each of the following in a residential apartment building? 1. Termite infestation. The landlord. 2. Hole in plaster wall made by guest of tenant. The tenant. 3. Injury suffered by guest who trips over tenant's coffee table. The tenant. 4. Insufficient lighting in common hallway. The landlord. 5. Broken main entry door to building. The landlord. 6. Window broken by present tenant. The tenant. 7. Window broken by previous tenant. The landlord. 8. Trash pickup from outside receptacles. The landlord. 9. Removing trash from premises. The tenant. 10. Injuries to trespasser who falls through floorboard weakened by tenant's bathtub overflow that was never reported to the landlord. The tenant. Exercise 12.3. What is the minimum notice or other time requirement for each of the following? 1. Notice by the tenant to terminate a month-to-month tenancy. Answer. 30 days. 2. Tenant's denial of abandonment of premises. Answer. 15 days after personal service or 18 days after mailed notice of landlord's belief of abandonment. 3. Notice to pay or quit. Answer. 3 days. 4. Enforcement of writ of possession. Answer. 5 days. 5. Storage of tenant's personal belongings after eviction. 15 days after personal notice, or 18 days after mailed notice. 6. Notice to pay or quit under MRL. Answer. 3 days. 7. Notice to terminate under MRL. Answer. 60 days. Exercise 12.4. Carl Class, a computer technician, wants to lease a storefront for his new business, Classy Computers. In addition to selling computers, he will also be conducting classes in computer and internet use. Carl approaches the owner of a vacant unit in a small strip shopping center in a high-traffic area near a community college. The owner is impressed by Carl's business plan and agrees to lease space to him. She is interested in helping him become established and also in benefiting from the expected growth of his business. What kind of lease would best accomplish the aims of both parties? Answer. A percentage lease would be useful in this situation. It would allow for a base rent affordable for a new business and also provide for rent increases as the business grows. Review questions. C. 99 years. 2. An office in Los Angeles can be leased for a term of no more than c. 99 years. 3. Agricultural land can be leased for a term of no more than d. 51 years. 4. A security deposit on furnished residential property can be no more than b. 3 months' rent. 5. If a question arises as to the validity of a landlord's claim against a tenant's security deposit, b. The tenant is presumed to be entitled to the security deposit. 6. A landlord wants to give a tenant's apartment to her nephew. The landlord tries to drive the tenant out by constantly phoning him, visiting him, and insisting that his apartment be used to show prospective tenants for other units what the building is like. The landlord is violating the tenant's c. covenant of quiet enjoyment. 7. A landlord has a right of entry a. in an emergency. 8. Transfer of all of a tenant's rights under a lease is a. an assignment. 9. A lease may be renewed automatically only if d. all of the statutory requirements are met. 10. A dwelling is untenantable if it substantially lacks a heating unit. 11. Because a tenant complains about the condition of the building, the landlord may d. investigate the complaint. 12. Which may be considered in choosing a tenant. D. Tenant's income. 13. On May 15th, a business owner notified her landlord that she would be vacating her retail store location on June 30th. The business owner has a month-to-month periodic tenancy. Until what date will she incur rent? B. June 30th. 14. A landlord must follow the legal requirements for an eviction a. from leased premises. 15. A landlord may begin eviction proceedings with c. a notice to pay or quit. 16. The sheriff or marshal can forcibly remove a tenant by b. a writ of possession. 17. A retail business has a percentage lease based on 5% of gross income of up to $25,000 per month and 2.5% of gross income above that amount. The minimum to be paid is $1,000 per month. For a month in which the business has a gross income of $47,000, what will be the rent payment? A. $1,800. 18. The owner of 417 Main, an office building, receives a guaranteed monthly income from her tenants and pays no expenses. She has d. a net lease. 19. A property manager b. is the property owner's agent. 20. A tenant moved out of his apartment at the end of the lease term. The landlord will be allowed to increase the rent for a new tenant to reflect the current market value because the local rent control ordinance b. provides for vacancy decontrol. This is the end of Unit 12. Landlord and Tenant.